For the longest time, mods and preps lived in near harmony. There were the occasional spats and disagreements they had. Until one day, they had had enough. There was to be a tournament, once and for all, to decide who would reign supreme. Naturally, the ghettos and skater boys were not invited.
I'm sitting here right now with the final contestant of the mod. So tell me about who you're representing. What exactly does mod mean?
Well, mod was a group that was started in the early 60s and consisted of people wearing suits and avoiding mainstream. They were usually the middle class working people that originally started by wearing suits to mock the upper class. But now it's that definition is not really used. So it's pretty much people avoiding mainstream, listening to the same kind of music, and we're all about racial equality.
So here we are with Sebastian Belser, the last contestant of the preps. And so tell me, what exactly are you representing by being a prep?
Well, I'm representing very openness for enjoying light colors, So often nowadays you see all these people wearing these tacky jeans down on their knees and football jerseys and hoodies. And so we just like to, keep it nice and bright, keep it lively, and we like a lot of the music that was popular, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. I'm telling you, Backstreet Boys, all the way.
So don't you get rather hot, though, wearing outfits like that all the time?
Some people do, but I personally have a weather tolerance, since I grew up in the ghettos of Scandinavia.
So, does that make all preps gay?
I'll get back to you on that.
So tell me about the hat. Someone told me that a hat is very important to a mod.
It is. This happens to be quite a expensive, fashionable hat called a pork pie hat because of its design. I'm not quite sure the origin of its name. But this hat was passed down through generation. I remember when my great father had this hat, but...
Your great father?
My great father. He was a father and he was great, and it was passed down to me. We were out camping one day up in the woods when suddenly a bear came and started to maul him, and his last words he said was, "Take my hat and wear it like I've worn it before." And he got it in. Thankfully, I was saved because I was armed with a spoon and a good grasp of the English language.
Well, I really like long walks on the beach, reading poetry by candlelight, a lot of the things that are very cliche. Is that some people would consider that gay.
What do you think of your opponent, the preps?
I think they're about as straight as my hair is right now. We're totally gonna smash them. Or more like I, since I'm the last remaining mod.
What do you think it took to make you the last remaining mod, the last one standing?
I'm just out there, full-fledged rude boy, as they used to call them. And then, who cannot defeat the preps? They're gay.
So what do you think about your opponents, the mods?
I don't know. I think it's kind of silly to be wearing a suit all the time, They must get rather hot and sticky in there, I'm very hygienic. I take 45-minute long showers. Can you tell?
So, what makes you think you're going to win against them?
I'm just gonna keep on trucking along, keep doing the same thing that got me this far. And the preps decided unanimously that I should be the one to represent them. Here I am. It was destiny. Nothing will stop me now.
Oh yeah, he's totally gay.
Finally, it came down to this. The mods and preps got together and each elected only one who they chose to represent them. The judges decided the only way to settle this magnitude of a dispute was to give them each a sword, and the last one standing would win.